How do you defeat a century-old monopoly after they finally notice you? When De Beers finally noticed Naledi Dlamini, they attacked with everything they had. 3 of her 4 patents are still pending. She expected this. She planned for it. She is 23 years old and the clock has now started. De Beers' initial public response is measured and dismissive. Their communications team issues a statement describing lab-grown diamonds as scientifically interesting but commercially marginal, and pointing to decades of industry data showing that consumers prefer natural, earth-created diamonds for their emotional significance. The statement does not mention Naledi by name. It does not mention LUMENA. This is, PR professionals later observe, a catastrophic mistake. It communicates that the company either has not taken the threat seriously, or has and does not want to acknowledge that it has. Internally, the response is different. De Beers convenes an emergency technology review within 72 hours of the press conference. Their scientists request samples of LUMENA diamonds from the press kit distributed at the conference. Analysis takes 4 days. The internal report that follows is classified at the highest level. 2 sections are later leaked to the Financial Times. The first section, LUMENA diamonds are indistinguishable from type IIA mine diamonds using all currently deployed industry detection methods. The second, we recommend immediate escalation to legal intervention. Naledi reads the leaked sections of the internal report from her phone on a Saturday morning. She is eating pap and wars at her mother's kitchen table in Kimberley. She has driven home for the weekend because her father's breathing has worsened. She reads the report. She puts her phone down. She finishes her breakfast. Her mother asks what is happening. She says, "They're scared." Lorado says, "Of you?" Naledi says, "Of what I've already done." The scared part comes before they understand it's too late. She does not tell her mother she is not sure it isn't too late. She has been running the risk calculations for months. She knows how much she does not know. The established diamond industry comes at LUMENA with 3 simultaneous strategies, deployed with the efficiency of organizations that have spent a century protecting their position. The first, a lobbying campaign to reclassify lab-grown diamonds under South African consumer protection law, requiring mandatory labeling that industry communications describe as transparency, but which is designed to stigmatize synthetic stones as inferior. The second, a coordinated PR campaign across global jewelry media framing lab-grown diamonds as emotionally hollow. The phrase is tested in 7 focus groups before deployment, with the implicit message that a man who gives his partner a lab-grown diamond loves her less. The third, De Beers files 3 patent challenges against LUMENA, each targeting a different component of Naledi's filings. Precious McCona reads the 3-pronged strategy in a leaked industry memo, obtained by a journalist who sends it to Naledi without explanation, and calls an emergency team meeting. The memo refers to LUMENA throughout as the Soweto operation, and to Naledi never by name, only as the founder. Precious puts the memo on the wall of the warehouse. "They called us the Soweto operation," she says to the team. "For a billion-dollar company, that is a tactical error. Do you know why?" Nobody answers. "Because it means they looked at us and saw a location instead of a person. They think geography is our weakness. They've never met someone from Soweto who decided to stop being underestimated." She takes a marker. She writes, "The Soweto operation," across the top of the whiteboard. Below it, in large letters, Phase 2. The team looks at each other. Naledi, in the corner, is already on the phone to their lawyers. The only difference between the diamond in the earth and the diamond in the reactor is the question someone decided to ask. Naledi's legal team makes a move that De Beers does not anticipate. They file a counterclaim to the patent challenges at the Constitutional Court level, citing economic rights under the South African Constitution, specifically the right to pursue economic activity, the state's obligation to promote equitable access to natural resources, and the constitutional framework for addressing historically entrenched monopoly power. It is a bold legal theory. It may not succeed, but it will take years to resolve, and it keeps every one of De Beers' patent challenges suspended while the constitutional question is heard. The filing makes international news. What makes more, Sipho Dlamini's statement, attached to the court papers as a personal affidavit, written by Sipho himself, with Naledi's help, in 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon. 11 paragraphs. His 26 years underground. His lungs. The settlement offer. His daughter at 9 years old, asking why a diamond costs so much. His daughter at 23, answering her own question. The affidavit is read, in full, by a journalist on a South African news broadcast. The broadcast clips are shared 47 million times in 72 hours. 3 weeks later, Sipho Dlamini is invited to speak at the United Nations Special Committee on Mining Communities and Economic Rights. He flies for the first time in his life. He wears the suit he wore to Naledi's university graduation. He breathes, slowly and carefully, into a microphone in Geneva, and tells 11 paragraphs to the world. In the audience, his daughter. She does not cry until they are outside. Then she does. De Beers' emotionally hollow PR campaign is designed for a pre-social media world. It assumes that luxury goods marketing flows downward, from brand authority to consumer, and that a 24-year-old woman from Kimberley cannot compete on messaging with a company that invented the engagement ring as a cultural norm. The assumption fails almost immediately. The counter-narrative begins with Naledi's response on social media, posted at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. De Beers says lab diamonds are emotionally hollow. My father worked 26 years underground to pay for his daughter's education. The diamond in my lab is made of carbon atoms. So is the lung tissue silicosis destroyed? You tell me which one carries the hollow emotion. The post receives 3 million responses in 48 hours. What follows is a cultural moment that no PR team can engineer or reverse. Couples begin sharing LUMENA diamonds on social media with a hashtag that trends globally for 11 days. Hashtag the real stone. The messaging is not anti-De Beers, it is pro-transparency, pro-origin, pro-choice. LUMENA's sales increase 340% in 6 weeks. Journalists who cover the luxury goods industry begin filing a new kind of story, not, are lab diamonds real diamonds, but, why have we been paying 40 times the actual value for a century? It is the wrong question for De Beers to have triggered, but they triggered it. De Beers requests a private meeting. Naledi is invited to Zurich, business class flights, 5-star hotel, a private dining room in the kind of restaurant that does not have prices on the menu. The meeting is framed as exploratory partnership discussions. Precious goes with her. Their lawyers go with them. So does a recording device, disclosed to the other party as required by Swiss law, because Naledi read the Swiss disclosure requirements before she booked the flights. The De Beers delegation of 6 people, led by their chief strategy officer, a man named Richard Ellery who has been with the company for 22 years, opens with a proposal. De Beers will acquire a 49% stake in LUMENA for $180 million. Naledi will retain operational control. Their technology will be integrated into De Beers' own lab-grown division, which the company will launch the following year. The offer is structured so that Naledi gets the money, De Beers gets the technology, and LUMENA becomes, effectively, a subsidiary of the company that made Sipho Dlamini's lungs what they are. She listens to the entire proposal without interrupting. 11 minutes. When Ellery finishes, she asks one question: what happens to our independent pricing model? He explains, carefully, that integration with De Beers' distribution network would require pricing alignment with industry standards. She translates this for herself, quietly, without showing it on her face. They want to buy her invention and use it to continue charging 40 times the actual value. She picks up her glass of water. She takes a sip. She sets it down. She says, "Thank you for the meeting." She stands up. Precious is already standing. They walk out. The recording is archived with their attorneys. It will become relevant later. The Zurich recording leaks 6 weeks after the meeting. Nobody determines how. The 47-minute audio, captured on a disclosed device and archived legally, includes the full De Beers proposal and, critically, a passage from Richard Ellery following Naledi's departure, captured because the device was not retrieved until 3 minutes after she left the room. In that passage, Ellery says to his colleague, "She'll come back. They always do when the legal bills arrive." His colleague responds, "She hasn't paid any legal bills. Her constitutional court filing suspended everything. We're paying ours." The pause. "Then we need to find a different kind of pressure." The Financial Times publishes the recording. Then The Guardian. Then Reuters. "We need to find a different kind of pressure" becomes, within 24 hours, a global headline. Naledi is in the LUMENA warehouse when her phone begins going off in the pattern she has learned to associate with something going very large very fast. She checks it, reads the headline, sets the phone face down on her workbench. Tabo is across the room recalibrating a reactor. He looks up. "What happened?" She says, "Richard Ellery just handed us our next 18 months of press coverage." She picks up the phone again and calls Precious. "I need you to draft a statement. 5 sentences. Professional. Not triumphant. We don't need to be triumphant. The recording is doing that for us." The pause. "What's the tone?" Precious asks. Naledi thinks for a moment. "Regret that it had to come to this. Absolute certainty that it won't change our direction." Precious says, "Give me 20 minutes." She has it in 12.